Hello. You're listening to Like I Said with Lord Satan. How nice of you to join me on this fine afternoon. Today's episode, I have Erin Cox on. Erin is a school teacher and a brewer and is passionate about running. How interesting. Am I right? Don't know why I'm talking like that. That was kind of funny in the beginning. Still think it's kind of funny. I don't care if it annoys you. This is a lot of energy to bring to the table, but it's a good episode. Erin and I have a full packed, one of the longest episodes so far too, and it's awesome conversation. Free, natural, flowing. We get a lot of cool information. We kind of even talk about a little relationship stuff. It's a good episode. And Erin's funny. She has a lot of interesting stories. And as someone who is in charge of leading the youth to being better people, she brings a lot of cool perspectives to the table. And I think you will benefit from listening to this, or at least just get a bunch of good laughs. And for that part, totally worth it, all right? Of course. So, without further ado, enjoy this episode. Oh, this episode is brought to you by Oak Road Brewery. This coming month, there's a lot of new beers coming out, so come on down. And remember, we're closed on Monday.
Oh, gee whiz, Satan. Why am I so unhappy?
Jim, it's just like I said, Jimmy Jim. It's like I said.
Just stop sucking so much.
Cause you suck, Jimmy. The guy was like having a weird flashback, and as he's doing, he's like sitting in traffic, and he's talking about the flashback that's hitting him, but he's just describing of why he's starting the flashback while a leaf goes across an intersection, and I'm like, it's 3 pages, and I'm like, dude, just get to the fucking flashback.
Yeah, that's like Dickens.
It makes me so mad.
Holy shit. Yeah, I don't.
I don't have like too much of like an old classic literature background. I've tried. One of my favorite books that I have not ever finished is The Tale of Two Cities.
And it's a great book. Like I had to read it in high school. Like, so I grew up in high school where you read all those. So like Tom Sawyer, Huck Finn.
I lied about those.
Okay, The Great Gatsby. Great Gatsby's one of my favorites.
I haven't even read that. Maddie's favorite author is
Scott Fitzgerald.
Yeah,
he is very good. And The Great Gatsby's 100 pages. Like that's an easy read. It's a good.
That's like an afternoon read.
Yeah, it's an easy, good read. A lot of symbolism though, and but it's cool because it really does capture the time, like the 20s. That right for yourself.
I remember getting the gist of it from school, but I know for a fact that I never read an entire book. I would always just go like the Spark Notes or something, and I could piece together like essays and shit. Right. So like I passed fine, but I think the only book I read all the way through, or at least remember enjoying enough and planned on reading all the way through, was 1984. I thought that was good.
That was a good one. Animal Farm.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, we
Moby Dick though was awful. Like, why would you try to make me read that?
Yeah, we so like my sophomore year in high school was American Lit, so you read all the American authors, and then junior year was British Lit, so you started with like Beowulf, Canterbury Tales, which I found fascinating. Like because it was a totally different, and to me it's that genre of, just weird, but imagination.
Did you see the Beowulf movie?
I did not. I heard I saw parts of it. I take it back. I saw parts of it, and it was back when they didn't have the CGI. Well, it was like when CGI first came out, right?
Yeah.
So it sucked.
And they made the mistake of trying to make the entire movie CGI based off of like too real of characters. So they tried to make it too realistic, and that's where like, that's weird. But what was more angry, or what made me more angry about the whole thing was like 90% true, and then like halfway through, like They followed it to the T. I remember that. I'm like, holy
Perfect.
shit,
Right.
wow.
Yeah.
And then there's just like a switch, and then everything was wrong.
See, no,
I'm like,
I wouldn't
fuck.
have been happy.
Not only that, but they made Beowulf fight people a lot butt-ass naked.
Ah.
So you imagine him like fighting and flipping around where things are like blocking his penis just like randomly, and it's just like, fuck.
You're like, why go to all that?
Yeah.
Put a loincloth on him.
I think finally at one point, I just like a
Waited.
solid like 13 minutes of fighting scene and he's just naked. And you're like, why?
Why?
Why? It had to be more like planning and money spent just trying to cover up his ding dong than it would be just to give him a loincloth.
Exactly. Or just let people see his dick. Just be like, whatever here.
Just like give someone, you have the fight scene and then we'll focus on these, and they come back and like, fuck,
Which is
why is he
funny because
naked?
what man's fighting naked?
No one.
No man's fighting naked. He's not letting that ding dong hang around like that with a sword.
Most, it probably just shrivels right back up in there. You don't have to worry about it.
Scared shit. You're like, somebody could chop that
They
shit
need you to get out of my way.
Exactly.
Awful.
I don't know, but
All
that's
right.
freaky.
Let me help angle this.
Okay.
Cool.
Sweet. Good.
That's it.
All right. So, but see, they did that with Harry Potter. The first two were really good, and then they got to the third one
Spot
and
on.
took some liberties, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
got pissy because the third one's my favorite.
Third one, see, it's weird for me. Oh, all right.
Uh-oh.
Actually, everything sounds pretty good, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
It was weird for me because I started Harry Potter off. Actually, before I get into this, let me introduce you. Hey, everyone
hey.
listening. I'm sure you caught all of this. We are on camera.
Oh, we were talking that whole time. Oh, great. Everybody got some
I
literature.
pushed in like right as I was ranting about Stephen King.
Oh, good. Well, everybody got some literature.
Yeah, you know.
Listens from us.
But I have Erin Cox on the
Hi.
podcast. And we'll get into how I met Erin and all that
That's
other
right.
stuff. But I want to get back to what I was talking about first. I started Harry Potter off with the movies. I didn't even read the books first. Not until... Oh, man. I would say like the 6th movie came out.
Ooh, okay.
I was able to finish the books and wait a month before the last book came out.
Oh.
I wasn't allowed to read them when I was a kid.
Oh, gotcha.
And so I just never ever got into it.
Right.
And then I dated a girl who was super into it. So then I got obsessed with it even well after we separated.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to date myself.
Yeah.
I read it.
Oh, did you?
We had just moved down here. So it was 98 when we moved down here.
So
and
jealous.
so we, I read it. I remember getting, which one was it? The Order of the Phoenix came in the mail, and I read it in a day. Like, sat on my front porch and read the
What?
whole thing.
That's so fast.
I had locked myself out of the house, but
Oh, well. That definitely helps.
so thank God I had the book.
No kidding. There's almost one of those like benefits like, well, I gotta read now.
Guess I'm gonna read this book. So yeah, I probably read them all before the first movie even came. Well, the last one hadn't come out, but yeah. So
That's crazy.
a couple times, and actually the first time when I first started it, I was like, oh my God, this book had better get better. Like after the first chapter, I'm like, holy crap, when does this
Yeah.
become a story? But like any good book, you gotta plow through the beginning before the real stuff happens. But yeah, that made me sad. The third movie was not to my
Yeah.
liking.
I do think it set the tone for the rest of the movies, though.
Yeah.
It's real childish up until the third one.
It was, but I mean, that was how they were.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, they were kids, so
Yeah.
it kind of, changed that whole theme of, oh, now wait, there's,
Yeah, then you get like,
real shit going down.
I know. It's like,
Real
well,
shit.
that was pretty bad. And third one, then the fourth one hits, and by the end of it, you're just like, holy
my
shit.
God.
And it just keeps getting worse and worse.
Worse,
all
yep.
the way to
This
the
poor
end.
kid just watching everybody he loves die. It's like, hey!
I know, but what a brat he is sometimes.
He is. But, in his life, he ends up okay. He's fine. Mm-hmm. He makes it all good,
That's true. All right, I'm going to I'm going to try and not knock this over. Wow, that hopefully will be a sentence
Oh,
I
you
never
better
tried.
not. What a sin.
Oh, I know, and we've been on the roll of spilling stuff today.
Uh-oh.
So,
Just knocking it all over.
yeah, I know.
There you go. See?
I don't
That's
think
awesome. Not really.
it's there. That way
There
it
you
won't
go.
like splash up and over.
Oh, yeah. See, look. Did you hit your funny bone?
I just can't do this.
Can't do it. See,
Just the worst.
you need a bigger space.
Awesome. All right, so
Yeah.
I met you before you started, or before Okra was like open, because you would
Yeah.
come into the coffee shop, and I barely probably remember the few interactions we had because
Yeah.
I kind of started working there right as like I would say maybe like a month before y'all
Before we started with the brewery.
Yeah, exactly. Because I
Cleaning everything
remember,
out.
yeah, because they called it Narnia,
Oh, yeah.
and it was Brad wanted me to go and kind of like help clean up the area, and I'm just like, what can I do with this? I don't even know. There's just junk everywhere. Everywhere.
We did, and we have pictures of it, like, because I mean, he had a bike in there.
Yep.
It literally was just a big storage facility. He had anything and everything he could think of. It was almost like it reminds me of like a junkyard. Like you would go in and find, you're like, why is this in here?
100% was a junkyard. Yeah.
And so we had to clean all that out before we could even put the cement down for the flooring.
Yeah.
And level it all out. So yeah, we spent a couple days doing that.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all.
Going in there and clean. We have pictures.
I think I even filmed a really quick music video in there one time.
Oh, probably.
A guy was playing guitar, and I was just kind of like going back and forth. There was just like trash everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah, super interesting.
Because we had to break out for the windows and everything that we have in the front and the back. Those weren't windows. Remember, that was all cement.
Holy shit, that's right.
Mm-hmm. The only thing that existed were the doors, the front and back door. And we had to, so that we had lighting for the two front windows and the back window.
I know. So much better now.
Oh, yeah. Wow. I mean, it's totally different. So it's really cool.
100% different.
I mean, but it's even different from when we opened it. When we first opened it. I mean, you remember the
I'm starting to go through the website and update the website. I'm like, these pictures are crazy.
Oh, yeah. So, like the one cooler we had where we kept the fermenters.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, and the fermenters used to be wrapped, and we made them like the Black Knight.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, you'll have to look. There's a picture of one, and it looks like the Black Knight from the Holy Grail.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
It is. It's fantastic.
Did you put a little sign up on it?
Yeah. It's got like the cross on it, because we're all big Holy Grail fans.
Oh my God, I love it.
But yeah, so I mean, and you have to remember, we started on a single barrel system. Brian started on, we now have a 5-barrel and 10-barrel fermenters, but we started on a single, which is that super small one that we use for test batches and things like that. But that's what he started on.
What do you use it for?
Yeah, he puts all the test batch stuff in there.
I didn't know
or
that.
like when we do the sours, the Berliner Weisses that we flavor.
Yeah.
He'll make we'll make the Berliner Weiss as a 5-barrel, but then we'll pull off a barrel and then put in like the peach or the mango or
Whoa, that's smart.
which you've seen him do. So yeah, the flavoring. So that way you can take what you made and make it into different flavors. So
I'm sure he's told me that before.
I'm sure, but he'll do that with
Takes
a
a
lot of
minute.
stuff, like the one he makes for the Greek guys, the juice.
Yeah.
That's joggling board with the cucumber juice in it.
So he probably just pulls a little bit off, puts in. Oh,
Yeah, he
that's
pulls
cool.
a barrel off and made it.
That's
So
really
that way it gets him
creative.
like 6 kegs. So
That is awesome. I love that.
yeah, he's very creative with that kind of stuff.
It's super good.
Little,
Speaking of the Greek guys, I found out that first I was super excited because last week they didn't show up.
Slackers.
I know, right? Shame on them. No euros for us.
That's right, David.
And so I was literally just talking to Maddie. I was like, oh my God, we get euros.
Yes.
Finally. No questions asked. They're going to be there. And then my dad texts me. He's like, oh, hey, it's your stepmom's birthday. Do you want to come out and get dinner with us tomorrow? I was like, nah.
Of course.
I am 100% saying yes, and we're going to share a small appetizer, and then we're going to the brewery to get euros. I'm like, I can't do it. I got to have it.
That's funny.
Got to take pictures.
See, you got to celebrate birthdays. Birthdays are a big deal.
Yeah, and I'll be there to celebrate. I just won't eat the food.
Okay. No, that's fine. Just cake.
Right.
Just the cake.
I don't eat cake.
Huh? What? You don't eat cake?
Nah.
Sweets? You don't like sweets?
I do like sweets, but I don't like cake.
What about ice cream cake? I like ice cream cake.
That's not bad.
Good.
Yeah.
Ice cream cake's good.
Cookies
That's my
are
favorite.
nice. I like small things that I can continue to like nibble on. That's where you're gonna get me.
Okay. See,
Yeah.
I like cookie cake. That's usually what I get for my birthday. Is a big cookie cake. So cookie cake or ice cream cake. Those are my birthday.
Cashew milk, ice cream. I also will eat.
Oh,
Yeah.
never heard of that.
It's lactose free.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, and it's not like the weird, like Lactaid
Oh,
makes
I
their
haven't
own
had that.
ice cream thing, and
I
it
know.
is weird. It doesn't harden, and
Ew.
it is like 8,000 times too sweet.
Ew,
So
yeah.
you're just like, what the fuck is going
Yeah.
on?
See.
And it's just the worst. The cashew milk actually tastes like real ice cream.
Oh, okay.
But I have this like really bad thing. I love sweets so much that if I start eating sweets, it's bad slope.
So,
I'm
yep.
just gonna want it so
Scroll, yep.
much. And then you're doing that thing at night where like, everything is savory because it's just real food. And I want to eat something. So I end up eating like cereal and bananas. Not cereal, oatmeal.
Oatmeal.
That is literally my dessert is oatmeal.
I hate oatmeal.
What?
I hate oatmeal. Brian and Patrick like it. I hate oatmeal. I don't like mushy food. Like I don't like grits. I don't like oatmeal. I don't like mushy. I don't know what. It's the texture, I guess, in my mouth. I don't like it.
Fair enough.
So, just no mushy food. Guess it reminds me of being a baby. I don't know.
I used to hate fat when I was eating like meat and stuff. If it had a lot of fat on it because it was really like chewy
gross.
and stuff.
Yeah, the gristle. Ew.
I am not that way anymore.
Ew.
I don't know. It's maybe because I just eat more like smoked barbecue or something. I don't know what it is.
I can't stand it.
But it's so good.
Gross. But I can't stand it for a reason because so when we were growing up, so I'm one of 9 kids. And then I have, my mom and dad and we're military. Yeah. Military Irish Catholic family. And so every Sunday was steak day. So we had steak for dinner. But my mom shopped at the commissary, military, the military grocery store, because it's cheaper and you don't pay taxes on it. So she would get steak. Well, she'd get a big old piece of steak. And of course, my dad got the prime cut of the big piece. And we all, the 9 of us, got the crap. So for the longest time, I didn't realize what, I'm like, no, I don't want steak. I'm like, steak is gross. And I probably was like a date with Brian. He's like, here. I'm like, well, what is that? And he's like, steak. I'm like, that's not steak. He's like, yeah, this is what steak is. Oh my God. Because I thought it was, and we used to eat it with ketchup too.
Yeah, I understand that. Hey, when you're eating that cut of steak, ketchup is fine.
But anything,
no shame.
Anything to put, you're just like, and you sat there and chewed on it, and you spit it in your napkin.
Yeah, we used to get in trouble if you didn't eat all of it. Like, you cut off, look at all that meat left on your plate. You better finish it up.
You better finish. They're starving children in Africa.
Yep. Don't you get up out of the table until you're done.
Oh my God, that. And my mom used to always make steak with lima beans, and I hate lima beans.
Wow, I haven't heard those in forever.
Steak. I'm like, oh my God, it's gross steak and nasty lima beans. How do I get rid of this food?
You have to have like 8 pounds of salt.
And we could only drink milk, so you could drink milk or water.
What?
So I got funny stories about the milk. So you'd like be guzzling milk just to get down the steak and the lima beans. I'm like, so yeah.
What a heavy meal.
Oh my God, every Sunday. But so Sunday we only had 2 meals. You had a big breakfast because we'd go to church at 8:00. So my maiden name's Peck. The whole Peck clan, we all took up the whole back row.
Oh my God.
Because there's 10 of us.
That's a good point.
Right.
Did you have like a gigantic long like school bus van?
We did have one of those big 80s vans.
Wow.
Before that, we had a station wagon, the big station wagon.
Oh, that's even
the
better.
70s station wagon.
All I can think of
where you could sit backwards in the back.
Love those. Sitting in the back was the best.
Yeah.
You're just staring uncomfortably at the person driving and they hate it.
With a big window. Yeah. So we had that first.
Love it.
And then we got the big van. So I'm one of 9. I have 3 younger sisters. One passed away when I was little, when I was 3. So then it's the other 2. So there's like a 4-year gap between, it's me, I'm 6th, and then there's a 4-year gap in the 2 younger ones. So yeah, when they came along, that's when we got the van and everything. So
wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, so my mom used to go to the commissary once a week because there's freaking 10 of us and to go grocery shop, and she would get 20 half gallons of milk because I told you we only could drink milk. 20 half gallons of milk. We had a whole separate refrigerator in our utility room.
Was about to ask. That's so much.
Yeah, so a whole separate refrigerator. So I grew up in Rockville, Maryland, outside of D.C. And so you could have basements, since we're talking about since we were talking about basements before. Yeah. So we had the utility room, and we had a separate refrigerator for the milk, and then we had a separate freezer for the bread because there was a Wonder Bread store like 10 miles away. So we'd go to the Wonder Bread store every month and stock up on loaves of bread because we all had bologna sandwiches for lunch every day.
Wow.
My mom packed we all went to parochial school, so you had to pack your lunch. And so my mom packed our lunches every day. And you'd see her assembly line, these bologna sandwiches.
Okay, question then. Because this is how it is for me. Mm-hmm. Can you eat bologna now?
No.
Okay, I can't either.
No.
Can't either. Have you been to... All right, we'll get to this at some point, I'm sure. But you're a teacher. Mm-hmm. Where do you teach right now?
Right now I teach middle school at DuBose. I teach science and math. Mm-hmm.
Did you ever teach elementary?
I did. Yeah, for 20 years. I taught 5th grade. Ooh. At Knightsville and then at Reeves.
So that's Knightsville. That cafeteria reeks of bologna sandwiches. I have like horror, like flashbacks when I smell bologna from being a kid and walking in there, just like, what?
What is going on?
And I went to the one next to it, Flourtown.
Oh, okay. So
sec-
Newington and Flourtown. Newington's right next to Flourtown.
Yeah. Oh, what did you say? Oh, you said nice.
Niceville.
Oh, I got the wrong thing.
Out in the country.
Yeah.
Like, and it literally was the country when I started. It's not anymore, but.
Oh, that's right. That's where my little brother and sister went. Okay. Too many schools. My brain is all crazy. So I went to Flourtown for 2 years, just second and third, and then went back to Somerville Elementary.
Yeah, because it was primary then.
Yeah.
Like, they did primary and then elementary and then middle. Yeah.
Yeah, but we shared the cafeteria, and it smelled so bad of bologna sandwiches. I just can't do it anymore. No, someone did fry one up for me the other day. Richard probably.
Was it good?
Because fucking Richard does all the weird stuff. It was.
See? Yeah.
I joked him like, look, if this is bad, I'm not eating this. I'm going to tell you straight up, like, you're going to waste this food because I will not. He's like, fine, I'll eat it if you don't like it. I was like, fine. Then he made it. I'm like, okay, you got me.
Yep.
Fair enough. I think we were camping or something, so
everything
tastes better.
Everything tastes better when you're outside. Yeah, no, I don't eat bologna anymore. I don't,
No. But
so,
you're pretty healthy. You don't really eat that bad, do you?
No. I mean, I eat candy. That's probably my vice. But no, I eat pretty much.
What kind of candy?
Chocolate. Anything chocolate.
Anything chocolate.
No coconut. Ew. Gross.
Fair enough.
Coconut's gross. But yeah, chocolate. Pretty much. But I have to be in the mood too. Like, I don't.
Chocolate fills me up so fast.
Yeah, I just, I have to be in the mood. Yeah. And I do like salty, but again, it depends on,
I think the most chocolate I eat is during Christmas time.
Oh, there you go.
Not Halloween.
Not Halloween. Halloween, I don't know. I'm picky about the candy at Halloween too. So, yeah.
Eric next door is obsessed with candy to the point where, like, during Halloween, we have to hide it from him because he doesn't stop eating candy.
Oh.
He will literally, like, I think last year whenever things were, no, not last year, year before, whenever things were normal.
Right. Before, not last year.
Yeah. Before the great closing. And people went out trick-or-treating.
People went out to strangers' houses and took candy.
Everything we were told not to do as kids.
But you know what? I'm pretty sure in like 50 years, people are going to think that's creepy. They're going to be like, wait, you went door to door?
I hope not, because that is
I hope not, too. But
so dumb that people aren't doing that now. It's ridiculous.
I know, but in 50 years, somebody will be like, wait, you did what?
Hope it's even better. Like, wait a minute, for like 3 years, you guys didn't go trick-or-treating? Like, you're right, we were so stupid.
I mean, I think back when I was a kid, the dads all stood on the corner drinking beer.
Oh my god.
I don't see that anymore.
I know, King of the Hill was all about that, and I've never seen that.
Yeah, but that's what the dads did, so, yeah.
That's amazing.
Because our neighbors across the street had 8 kids, too.
Oh, wow. You had to. There was no other reprieve. It's like too many kids.
Everybody sat out drinking beer. Except the wives. The wives, drank their wine with ice.
With ice?
Of course, you put an ice cube in the wine.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I guess they liked it colder than cold. I don't know.
Okay.
I really don't know.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
But you're not someone who... Do you like wine?
I'll drink wine. I like dry wine.
Okay.
So,
yeah, it's like a nice red or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like a nice dry red.
That's what I'm
so
talking
I like
about.
dry wine. So, and it's something I have to be in the mood for. It has to pair well with what I'm eating, kind of thing. So I don't drink a lot of liquor. I don't like sweetie mixed drink. There's some, I like scotch. If you have a good scotch.
Really? Mm-hmm. I had a great scotch from Scotland.
What? Yeah, if you have a good scotch on the rocks with a twist.
I'm not a big scotch person.
I can handle it. Yeah, I had an aunt who used to drink scotch. So, and then scotch, whiskey. I brought Brian back some Jameson from when I was in Ireland.
Very nice.
Brought him back some limited edition.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You ever had a pickleback?
What's that?
So you take a shot of whiskey, or it could be like tequila or whatever the fuck you want to take it with. But the important part is the next shot you take immediately after as your chaser is pickle juice.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and so that juice immediately erases all alcohol.
Oh.
It is the biggest canceller ever. I have never taken...
Interesting.
You could take a shot of Everclear
gross.
And immediately take the pickle back, and you will not taste the Everclear. You will not gag. You don't feel like anything's burning inside of you. Like even though you
if I had Fireball, because I don't do that either. Like Fireball's gross.
It depends. Okay, so if you threw up a lot when you first started drinking, maybe you're not going to be able to beat that. That made me gag a little bit.
Okay.
Fireball? No, not Fireball. I hate Fireball, but it's not my.
Fireball's gross.
What's my number one that I can't do anymore? Jaeger.
Ooh, yeah.
100% cannot do
I can
that.
do a Jaeger bomb, but I'm not a big liquor person because if I drink liquor, you get one of two people. You get like, yeah. You get like emotional, like everything off the deep end. Like, oh my God, he's cheating, you know. Or you get crazy bitch. Like,
wow.
Yeah, there's no happy medium with
Damn.
liquor for me. Yeah. It's either like super emotional, like I love everybody, or I'm upset or whatever, or it's super bitch. Like I'm just ready to beat everybody up. And again, it depends on the mood I'm in.
That's so funny. Before, yeah.
Yeah. So it's
I'd
just,
really
I just stay away from it. Like people all the time, they're like, you want to do a shot? I'm like, absolutely no. You don't want that. Unless I'm already in a really good mood. And then I just get really frisky.
I'm feeling that.
So as long as Brian's around.
It works out well.
Yeah.
Everyone wins. Yeah.
But, you know.
It's good to know. Like,
yeah,
now,
good to know.
if I can, like, tell I'm not in the right, like, state of mind, like if a depression is, like, on the edge or something, I don't drink. Even if I'm in a good mood, it's too risky.
Yeah.
But it's only with liquor. Beer usually.
Yeah, beer and wine, I'm fine. It's liquor. So I'm just like, ooh.
I usually get too full off of beer before I get tipsy. Actually, not true. Fuck. The beers Brian have been making lately have been higher ABVs than usual.
Yes.
And so I'll just be working. I'm like,
what's happening?
I feel pretty good right now. But in my defense, I'm trying to like make videos, and so I'm chugging beers for videos. I need to stop doing that because the videos never turn out good.
Not when you're chugging.
No. It's like I'm trying to like do a time lapse speed of the beer going down. It just doesn't work.
Okay. There you go.
And then I'm just tipsy. We're getting off subject now.
Oh my goodness. Focus.
So yeah, if everyone is curious now, Erin is a brewer at Oak Road.
I am. I do the female brew team. So and I help Brian. So with actually COVID, that actually was a good thing because school kind of shut down. I mean, I did everything online, which was made life a lot easier.
Ever.
Well, it made life easier for me to go ahead and get more involved with the brewery, which was good because we'd already planned that anyways. So the fall of, I'm trying to think of years. So COVID happened in 2020, right? So the fall of 2019, we had already started talking about, you know, how we wanted to shift and get either myself or Ben more involved in the brewing with Brian, just in case, you know. I mean, as of right now, you look at it and Brian's our head brewer. Well, if something happens to Brian, it's really hard to make beer if nobody else knows what to do. So, and God love Brian, I do. And he just works better with me than Ben. So as far as temperament, and he's an artist.
Yep.
So as you know, you're an artist. And when you get in your zone and you're doing your thing, and that's how he, you know, I mean, you've seen him in the brewery. He puts his headsets in. He's going.
Oh, he's in his own world.
Yeah, he's going. So
and he talks to himself. And,
and he's making trades and he's doing this. And he's got like 8 million things going on. So it needed to be somebody who knew how to kind of read him and be like, oh, now's not a time to, you know, mess with him and that kind of stuff. And so he was really excited. And we had talked. And at that point, too, he goes, I really think you should get involved with the Pink Boots Society, which is the international, actually, society that promotes women in brewing. And so their funds all go to training female brewers and that kind of stuff. So you buy their hops and you make beer with them and that kind of stuff. So we decided to sit and do that. And I was like, but I need to know what I'm doing first. Like, I know how the process works because we've done it in our garage 8 million times and I would get bored. I have zero patience, so which is hilarious.
So you're doing this?
Exactly. So I have zero patience. I've gotten much better in my old age now, but yeah, and people are always like, but you're a teacher. I'm like, you don't have to be patient to be a teacher. I don't know who told you that, but whatever.
I think just because what you have to deal with kids, that
I
you
guess.
have good patience. Not how it is.
No, and I mean, that's a whole nother thing. And you know, Birch and I'm just pretty blunt and honest. And really, that's what kids like. Kids respond to that 10 times better than you. Hey, sweetie. No, they're like, what? I'm like, you're being a tard. Stop. And they're like, okay, I'll stop being a turd. And they, you know, and they get it together. But, so yeah, we decided we were going to do that. And then, you know, we went, January came and we had our brew that we were going to do, which was Virgo. We did with the women, and I invited Carrie, and at that time Dominique and Maddie were around. So I was like, hey, you guys want to brew with us? And you know, and they're like, yeah, sure. So we did that beer together, and it was okay. Well, what are we going to do from here out, and that kind of stuff. And then Brian and I went away to Cancun, and when we were in Cancun, right before COVID. I mean, right before, like, it was literally a month right before everything shut down.
Y'all were so tan.
We were.
I remember.
So, and when we were there, we talked more about, what can we do and that kind of stuff. And so it just, COVID happened. It was all those things kind of fell into place. So I went and brewed with him every time he brewed. Wow. So yeah, from March till that August, I brewed more than I've ever brewed, even at home. Like at home, you get bored. I'm like, what are we doing? We're literally watching water boil. Literally. I'm like, what? How long are we doing this? At the brewery, there's other stuff to do. Like, you don't have to watch the boil kettle. You could go.
Is it ready yet?
You could go do paperwork. Right. You could do paperwork. You go do, all this other stuff. You could do your trades. Right. Your trades. Or, I do schoolwork grade papers too, Yeah, not fun. But there was other things you could do.
Right.
So it was much different and huge, big change, different system, all that stuff. And again, I have no patience. So although I love to learn, I am not a good student. I've gotten better. And so for people who don't know Brian thinks he communicates really well, but Brian is do this here, do that there. Where is this? Where is here? Where is that? And you look at him, he goes, why are you getting frustrated? I'm like, none of those words gave me anything to go by. I don't even know what you're talking about. Go here, do this, do that. I mean, and it's literally, or the other thing is too, the vernacular. So now I'm extremely familiar with it when he talks about tri-clamps and going to the boil. Okay, I know what he means. But when we did it at first, he's like, so I'm like, which one? Oh, yeah. There's 3 freaking kettles. Which one? Mm-hmm. Which one's this? So, that learning curve took definitely built new bridges in our marriage.
I bet it did, which is good because I think a lot of people were probably concerned that it was going to do the opposite.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'll ask him, like, when I go to, like, take pictures or market or post or whatever, I'm like, all right, what are we doing?
Right.
And then he'll just say things. And I'm like, oh, God, I got no idea what you just said. And I ask him, and then his explanation, I'm like, I have no idea what that means either.
Right.
I'm just texting Ben like, hey, man, I don't know what the fuck Brian's talking about. I'm just going with it. And Ben just laughs.
Right. So his nickname, and I'm sure you know, is the Professor.
Yeah.
Because God love him. I mean, and I'm sure you're this way too about art. There's a whole nother language that if you don't know it, people don't know what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. And so if he gets into that mode, that's what you're talking about. You're like, and you just smile. You're like, okay. Because he's so passionate about it. So you don't want to like diffuse it and be like, what is going on?
Just ride the wave, right?
Right. So, and he just wants to share it. And it's, for people who don't really know Brian, he is a pretty kind of humble, quiet guy. If you don't know him, if you know him, absolutely not. And he, and I've talked about this before, he can read people so well. It takes him about 10 minutes. And if you are not worth his time, you are not worth his time. He will not. And he's not rude about it. He just doesn't talk to you. And people are like, oh, he's so quiet. I'm like, no, he just doesn't like you. He just knows you're not a person. He is very much, and I don't.
Yeah, if he gets value or there's value, then he'll interact. If not, then he has more important things to do.
Exactly. And I don't even mean value like what can I get from you? Just value, are you a positive person who wants to grow and learn and be, which is great. I mean, and we're both kind of that way. I'm a little more of a bullshitter because I have to be. And in teaching you have to be. I can't tell the parent I'm not talking to you.
Oh my God, it'd be amazing.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, that would be great, but I can't. So I have to deal. Whereas his line of work in the ER, you can because you're I don't have time for you. Boom, done. Boom, done. So, which is great because I've learned how to do that from him, like how to be more direct with. I don't have time for this. I'm moving on. Which is, something I didn't, because then I feel like I was being mean. Mm-hmm. Like, I know it's funny, too, because a lot of people think I'm, like, really bitchy. But I really don't. Yeah. I really don't ever want to be mean to somebody. Like, I don't want people to walk away feeling badly, after interacting with me. But at the same time, you know why? It's because I'm just pretty blunt and honest.
Yeah, but...
Well, not everybody likes that, Caleb.
I guess you have a good point. Most of what you say is usually followed up by a laugh or something. Yeah. So I'm like...
Yeah.
I don't know. So, whatever.
Yeah,
People
exactly.
are stupid.
People are stupid.
A bunch of babies.
That too. But that's why you keep your circle small.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
So you know that.
Yeah, I never really thought Brian was rude at all either.
No. And I don't think he is either. I think he just is very, and that's why I always, when people are like, oh, he's so shy, I'm like, sure, go for it. You keep that in the back of your head. He's shy.
Yeah, just wait till you ask him the right question.
Exactly. I'm like, did you ask him about beer?
Yeah.
No? Okay, that would
stocks.
be. Stocks, beer, soccer, you know.
Oh,
He's got a couple things.
He's all about it.
He is. When he's passionate about something, he's crazy.
Speaking of passion.
Yes.
Hey, what are you most passionate about?
Well, I got a couple things. So running is a really big one.
Which is wild.
It is. It is. And it's something I used to do when I was younger. And then, like, as I got older, I just didn't do it anymore, you know, for all the excuses you can come up with. And then, again, probably about 2.5 years ago, it was one of those, and really I got back into it because I needed to lose weight. I was like, okay, what's an easy way? Obviously, running every day. It doesn't cost a lot of money. You don't have to go to the gym, and it's all on you, you know? So I got apps on my phone, and all right, I'm going to do this, you know, and then it became one of those things that, for me at the time too, I was just dealing with a lot of where did I want to go? Who did I want to be? What was my purpose? What was my why? And so running gave me that chance to think. I'm an overthinker. I don't know.
Oh, I feel that.
I'm an overthinker. I mean, somebody looks at me the wrong way. I'm like, oh my God, did I hurt their feelings? I worry that I did something, you know, and as I've gotten older, I've gotten much better at, that's their problem, not mine. If they're not going to say it to me, tough shit. Because I'd be like, hey, that was really not nice, you know, or I really don't care. You can be not nice to me. You seem to think I care.
It would be so nice if more people just kind of like vocalized that.
Right. Or just, you know, ignored it. So I'm getting better at it.
That too.
Or ignored it. So it almost became a therapy for me to deal with some other things that I was going through too. And so then it just became okay, what can I do? And the best thing about running is it's you against yourself. Like, in the running community is some of the most positive people you will ever meet. Like, they don't care if you're running a 7-minute mile or a 10-minute mile. It's, hey, good job, you're out there doing it. And I am one of those people that's like what I respond to is positive. Like, I don't need things. I don't need you to buy me stuff. I just need, like, in, you know, love languages, whatever you call them. But that's mine. Positive affirmation, you know, hey, you're doing a great job. Hey, I appreciate you doing that kind of thing. So running kind of lent itself to that for me. So, cool. And then again, it was healthy too. So, you know, it was therapy. It was healthy. It was all those things. So.
All right, let me ask you this then.
Uh-oh.
What the fuck do you do about the pains? My knee hurts like a motherfucker. I used to run, like, when I first started to get healthy again, like maybe a couple of years ago, that's what I started with. That was my cardio. I was running, and I loved it eventually.
Right, and it did take, like, when friends ask me, I'm like, it didn't happen right away. Like, I had to, you know, it's one of those, again, discipline is consistency. It's not, you know, what's your motivation? I have no motivation. It was get up and do it. You said you were going to do it, get up and do it.
It's that long-term satisfaction or reward or whatever.
Yeah, that long-term reward. And I was trying to build, like, again, I said I was going through some things, so I was trying to build trust in myself. Well, if you can't stick by what you say you're going to do for yourself, how can other people trust you and that kind of stuff? So again, that was kind of my motivation. If I said I'm going to get up and run this many days a week, then I'm going to get up and do it to, you know. So it was more that to start.
I love it. And
then it became, again, you know, that passion, that love. I don't have knee problems. Like, I'm just one of those. I didn't.
So now jealous.
Now I did recently have hip problems. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not old.
No.
You know, I mean, people may think I'm old because I'm almost 48, but in my head, I'm not, you know, in my head, I'm still 20, whatever. But
I know, and your humor is like 15, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much like a 15-year-old boy, but I'm fine with that. So, whatever. So yeah, but it was my hip flexor, so I had to do some stretching and rolling and, you know, do some research about, why is this happening? And actually just recently my calf too started tightening up. So, and Brian's like, you need to eat your bananas. I'm like, I eat a banana every day. I drink a ton of water. The calf injury came because I was doing squats and I wasn't doing them the right way. Oh. And so with weighted squats. So now that I've kind of adjusted that, it's back. But I mean, you just kind of, the knee thing, I don't know. I have friends who have it too. My biggest thing when I started running was I went to Fleet Feet, love Fleet Feet, and, you know, got the whole foot thing and what shoes are right for you.
Gotcha.
And that really did make a difference.
Interesting.
So yeah, because originally I was wearing like, just crappy whatever I bought
Same.
at the store. But
Some
when I
Nike.
went there and they helped me, kind of fit my foot and, hey, you need this wide one. And I don't run with socks. I don't like socks ever. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like the texture on the bottom of my foot. I don't know. Go figure. I really don't. It's weird. I know. But I like.
Oh, that's great.
It's.
I've never heard that before in my life.
Yeah. So I don't like socks. I never wear them. Ever. Like if I wear them, it's because it's super cold and like you got boots, like snow, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Or like thick boots because you're going hiking or something. Yeah, I hate socks. So normally I'm barefoot. Like flip-flops barefoot. That's my thing.
I feel that. You're in the right state for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Perfect state for it. But of course at the brewery you can't wear flip-flops. So
Fair point.
that's why I wear my Converse all the time. Because Converse don't really need
Yeah,
socks.
it's basically like being barefoot.
Yeah. So so that was the thing when I went to Fleet Feet. They're like, what kind of socks do you wear? I'm like, none. And they're like, okay, then that like makes a difference too in what shoe we get you. And they're like, really, none?
Weird.
They're like, really, none? I'm like, I really don't like the way it feels on the bottom of my foot. So I don't know why.
I wonder why the sock
weird.
matters.
I don't know. Brian wears a special amount of sock. I don't go figure.
Interesting.
Yeah, you'll have to ask him about them.
I was moving stuff up and down the stairs today, and within 3 hours, my knee was just like, hey, man, try not walking.
Now,
What?
have you had a knee injury? Like any friends I have who've had knee problems had a knee injury.
I do have hereditary terrible knees.
Oh, maybe
My
that's what it
grandfather
is.
has had like an insurmountable amount of surgeries on his knee.
Maybe. Maybe
I don't
you just
know either.
Got weak muscles.
Wow.
I don't know. I'm just saying. You asked. I'm telling you what it could be.
Fucking rude. Just
Sorry.
come in here and be like, you weak son of a bitch.
Weak muscles.
Suck
slack
it
ass.
up.
Go do some leg lifts.
Really what it is just, I'm trying to tear down the table apparently.
I see that. See, you're trying to show me you're not weak.
Yeah.
Watch me tear this table down.
Remember the story of Samson? Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think I'm just being
You wouldn't be strong then because your hair is
lazy. Oh yeah, I have no hair. Just weak as shit. I'm not making this any better on myself.
You're not. You're not helping
No,
yourself.
I think I just need to stretch it out or something. I don't know. It's something when it bends and whatnot. But I do have a pinched nerve in my foot, so it doesn't really matter.
Well, it could be that too. And then I have a sister who does triathlons, like the Ironman ones.
Awesome.
And she, the pavement, like it pounding on the pavement if you don't have enough support. So if you run outside,
Oh, my
That could
dad
be it
has
too.
bad knees too.
yeah, but that could be why.
Shit jeans.
Shit, jeans. It's all in the
damn it.
jeans. Damn Levi's.
That's funny. Oh god. I was like, what are you talking about?
That's a good one.
I know. That was actually pretty good.
That was. You just
Because it
over.
like threw me for like a loop. I know. Hey, I caught it. It didn't go all the way over my head. I caught
back
it.
there.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's funny. Richard, obviously, you can see
Yes.
the picture, loved running, but he can't run anymore either.
Why?
His feet, when he grew up, his feet were all fucked up. So he had like pins and needles to
Ooh,
re-straighten
yeah.
things. And then he's like, you'll never be able to walk or whatever. Then obviously he walks just fine.
Prove everybody wrong, right?
And then he ran for a while. And then that ended up causing like bone spurs or
Ooh,
something.
yeah.
Because
Mhm,
he's
that can
like,
happen.
I'm just going to run anyway. And
I
like,
don't
you shouldn't
care.
run. And now you have a problem.
Aw.
So he can't really run anymore.
Oh, well, that sucks. But
I
yeah,
know.
so I like running. And so we have the running club at the brewery, which I love because it could, brings people out there for just something fun to do.
Yeah, no kidding.
So,
It'll be really good in the summer because he can run right early before it gets
Yes.
super hot.
Super hot. And then you come have a beer because that's what you should do. That's why you run, so you can drink beer.
Plus, a beer right after exercising is one of the best times to have
It
a
is.
beer.
It's got good carbs. It's,
You
go
just feel
for it.
really great afterwards. You're like, I'm
Feel
all
good.
bubbly inside.
Exactly. This run and everything is amazing. So,
Oh, God.
but it is fun. So yeah, we, that's we have
But not just runners, though.
no walkers,
We can't-
joggers, woggers, whatever you want to be.
Yeah, that's right. We got to make sure it's very clear for everyone
It's
listening.
very clear. I don't want anybody to be intimidated. It's meant to be fun. It's meant to be fun. Well, and and it's funny too. As far as running goes, I run like a 9-minute mile, little maybe 9:15, and it's interesting. Like I was telling you the other day when we were at the brewery, like people are like, "Oh, I'm intimidated." I'm like, "I'm really not that fast." But if you run, and I'm like, oh yeah, when I started running, I didn't, I ran like an 11-minute mile. It was just, let me get it done. This is my job. This is in my head. This is my job. I got to get it done. This is my exercise today. So I could see, where people are like, oh, uh-oh, I don't want you to be intimidated. I want you to come have fun and hang out with us. They're dogs. Like,
true. I feel like also people are calling the intimidation card. They're kind of just looking for a reason not to come.
Yeah. I mean, and that's, again, as you get older, it's funny that, you get intimidated. Like, I don't get intimidated by a whole lot anymore other than my feelings.
Come full circle, overthinking.
Yeah, other than my feelings tend to be a little intimidating. Being vulnerable is not an Erin quality. Hence humor. Here we are. Exactly. I deflect everything with humor. That kind of thing. So, or I just tell people to go away.
There you go. Whereas Brian just walks away.
Right. If you get too close, I'm like, hey, we need to not be friends anymore.
So it's straightforward to the point.
Yeah. I'm like, no.
You need to leave.
You need to leave because we can't be this close.
Do you see this line? Yeah, you just stepped over it.
Exactly.
And I need you to take 20 steps back.
And I know I let you step over it and I talked to you and now I need you to go backward.
I changed my mind.
Because I probably, what was I thinking telling you all that stuff? No, it's truly, like, I know I'm laughing, but that's really how I am. Poor people, people in my life who are like, what the hell is your problem? I don't know.
It's like when you turn around after a conversation, you're like, fuck. I said way too much. That's me with alcohol, though. I get it. That's 100% what I do.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's just,
It's even worse when you catch yourself halfway through and you're like, never mind.
Never mind.
And the person's like, you can't just never mind me. Like,
right.
I did.
And you don't need to know any more about me because you might use it again. Like, and that's that's the funny thing, too, is I'm like, they might use it against me. I'm like, for what? I don't know. Like, I'm nobody important. What are they going to do with it?
Plenty important, Erin.
But you know what I mean? I'm like, what are they going to do?
Oh, no, right?
I'm going to go tell everybody. I'm like, oh, wait, what? I don't care.
Yeah.
So, I'm finally at that point in my life where I don't care. So, it's funny because you're asking my passions. I write a lot. So, I do a lot of journaling, which a lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously with COVID, that, increased a lot too. But, so I have like 5-6 full journals.
Wow.
Of writing, yeah. And it's, a lot of times it's day-to-day stuff, but a lot of it's that overthinking stuff, like, and how, I can get better at it and that kind of stuff.
Does it help?
It does. It helps me a lot, especially with my anxiety. Like, a lot of people don't know, too, which is interesting because, I can cover it with laughter and confidence.
Yeah, you do a good job.
Yeah, a lot of people tell me that. But no, I am a big overthinker, and I'm very anxious about things in life. Luckily, I have Brian to balance that. Brian is not.
He is like a stable, cool cucumber.
He is, and he helps bring balance to that, which is nice. So, kind of thing. But of course, I'm the organizer and the planner. So
yeah, also I can tell not his thing. Yeah.
So we do balance each other.
You are really good too, like pieces.
Yeah. We really do fit together.
Oh my God, that's great.
So, but he helps with that. And so, I do a lot of writing. And it's interesting because I never read back over what I write.
Really?
Like, it's sitting in journals and I've never reread it.
Wow.
Like, I just put it out there. It's almost like I throw up in the, like I said, that vulnerability that I won't have with people, a journal's not going to do anything. So I don't mind throwing it all out there about, what I'm anxious about, what I'm feeling,
right.
what, kind of thing. So
it's kind of being more open and vulnerable with yourself and not like lying to yourself. Like,
right.
Here's the truth of what I've been thinking about all day.
Right.
And I get that. They say it's really good, 'cause especially if you overthink, it helps get those thoughts out of your head.
Right. And a lot of times once they get out on paper, I'm not worried. Like, once they get out on paper, you see how, and I'm not trying to make it sound for anybody else who feels this way, but it's almost how trivial they were or how just out there they are. Like, that's never going to happen. Like, as stressed as if I do it, because you just spin. And so I can use it for that, which is really good. But like I said, I don't reread any of it because I don't, again, it's once it's out there, it's out, and I'm not worried about it. And kind of like you said, being vulnerable with myself, like I said earlier, learning how to trust myself is a huge thing that I've come to, and running, kind of bringing it back to running and learning how to brew. I've had to, the confidence that I show is an act. Like, I know how to act. It's not hard.
Okay.
I mean, I grew up in a family of 9. So
Everyone in Hollywood's like, how dare you?
Sorry. But to put on that, and as a teacher, you're acting all the time. You're presenting a persona of who people think and that kind of stuff. So being able to kind of let that all down, like I said, one, there are very few people who see it. My inner circle does because I let them. But that's about it, and it's just for, various reasons of growing up and things that happened and that kind of stuff that those walls are all built. So, I
don't think it's a bad thing, though.
And I don't, because at the same time, I also have, like I said, Brian's very good at reading people. So am I. Like, I can be like, you're a little shady over there. A little shady. And I can read more what people say. Like, a lot of what people say, I'm like, bullshit. That game bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's a load of shit. And that's a load of shit.
I feel like that definitely helps you pick, experiencing being a teacher and so much. You get that so much. And who tries to bullshit people more than fucking kids?
And they're hilarious because I'm like, you do know I remember what it was like to be 12. Yeah. And I know all the excuses that you're coming up with because I used them. Like, I wasn't innocent. I was that kid who, so like I said, I'm one of 9. I have 6 sisters.
Damn.
And I'm the 3rd out of the 6. But since my one sister passed away, I'm the middle sister. So 2 older, 2 younger. And so the 2 younger ones were kind of babied because,
that's how it happens.
Life would happen. Right. And so then I have my 2 older sisters and my one older sister who does the Ironmans. And I love her. She's my best friend. But she's that always on it, always knows what's going on, very organized, very uber. You're like super mom, like all those things. Gosh. And you're like, but don't get me wrong. If you tell her that, she's extremely humble. She's like, what? No, I'm a mess. I'm a, so
okay.
Kind of thing. So, but her and I are 3 years apart. So we went to high school together and things and so I'm the opposite. I was like, oh no, I'm not. So for attention, all those things. So I was always the one, and I've always been very blunt and honest. Oh my God. In a Catholic family, no. You, shh. Tell people, shh. My mom used to tell me that all the time. Shh. I'm like, what? I'm like, I don't like, and I of course didn't understand it because you're supposed to be honest. You're not supposed to lie. It's one of the commandments.
Yep.
And my mom would be like, right, but you don't have to say it either. And I'm like, whatever. And well, why not? I'm like, I didn't care. Like, I didn't understand it. Now looking back that I'm older, I understand just because of who my family was and the area that we lived in and what my dad did and those kind of things. My dad's a pediatric surgeon, but he was also a Army colonel.
Wow.
Yeah. And so, like I said, we lived in the DC area. Well, he traveled with senators and congressmen, and so we were a family, and
oh my God,
yeah. So I didn't know that. Like, looking back, I'm like, oh, oops.
Keep Erin away.
My bad.
Oh, it's great.
That kind of thing. And that was still too, like when we were young, like in the 80s, being a doctor was a big deal. Like my dad had the black bag in the house and the neighbors would come. It was still kind of that era. Yeah. The late 70s, early 80s when people would come and knock on the door and be like, hey, we need Chuck. My dad's name's Chuck. We need Chuck. Somebody's sick, that kind of stuff. I had never actually been to a doctor until I was 18.
Wow.
He was a pediatrician. I didn't,
where
did I need to go? Other than to get your vaccinations. Well, you got your shots. You went on the military base and you're walking with the colonel. You didn't wait in line for shit. I'm like,
That's awesome.
Like, I didn't know. I'm like, what?
I could literally just see you doing that.
I did. I'd be like, yeah. Because I didn't know. We're walking through the base. He's saluting people. They're all, I'm like, yeah, I don't waving. I'm like, whatever. I don't get it. Whatever. And I'm a daddy's girl, so my dad didn't care either. He'd be like, come on.
I love it.
Yeah, it was great. But, so yeah, that whole being true to who you are and that kind of stuff, it was kind of, when I was a kid, stifled a little bit. It was told, you don't do that. You don't tell people. They don't need to know. And I'm like, okay. So now as an adult, I kind of have to look back and go, oh, no, wait, I can be that goofy kid that I was.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. So.
Yeah. That happens a lot, I think.
Yeah.
You get stifled and like, maybe you shouldn't do that. Like, for being an artist, everyone loved my art growing up. Right. But I was always told, don't do art stuff for a living. You'll never.
You can't make any money.
Yeah. And it's understandable. I mean, back in the day, before all that, it was going to be hard.
Right.
And I'm not going to lie, it has been very challenging. But it's been way more rewarding than it's been challenging.
Well, and it's kind of like, instead of saying, hey, you can use your art in this avenue to make money, but then use this as your avenue to, be your creativity. It's like,
Work
those
together.
kind-
Work
balance
around-
the.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, balance. That's
Balance
good.
that. I got to pay the bills, so I can use my, my art in that realm. But at the same time, I can then, by paying the bills, can use some of my spare time.
Spare time.
Spare time. I mean, I don't really know what spare time is.
I know.
I'm so busy all the time.
There have been times where there's nothing immediately due, and I'm just sitting around the house like, this is free time that I could technically use for myself, but I don't know what to do, so I'm just going to work.
Exactly. I'm just going to go ahead and work on this project instead.
Yeah, whatever. It's nice, though, because being an artist, a lot of what I do now is art-related.
Right.
So I'm actually excited to be working on it.
See, that's neat, and that's good. So you figured out how to kind of balance that. What is it you're passionate about, and put it,
And I like that you took your running passion and invited more people into it. I think that's really neat.
Yeah, so, and it's fun to watch. And then the same with brewing. Like, I didn't even realize how passionate I was about brewing until doing it like on a bigger scale instead of just in my garage.
Right.
And so it's neat to be able to share that with not only, the women in brewing, and I like to do that. I like to see women kind of going out of their realm, because I don't think there is a realm for women.
No.
Like, to me, and growing up, there never was. Like, my dad was always like, girls can do whatever. I have 3 brothers, so we all did the same stuff. It was never, my mom was more that's girls don't do that, and not that she didn't want us to be strong women, but there was, girl, no, we don't do that. Girls don't cuss. I'm like, fuck that. Kind of thing, that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That more, this is what it should look like. And so I just like being able to kind of let women try different things. So that's fun too. So I don't know. All of it's kind of.
It's great for us who get to drink your beer.
Yeah.
It's always good stuff.
Yeah, and we do have fun coming up with the recipes, and that's been very empowering too. Over the last year, Brian's taught us how to, because last year it was more, okay, this is what we're thinking, and he'd help he'd be like, okay, here's the recipe I came up with, and here's how you can execute it and that kind of stuff. Whereas this year, he's like, okay, so you want to make that, so how do we do that? What malts would you need to use? What would you do? And that kind of stuff, which is neat.
That's really cool.
Yeah, for
like
us
that.
to kind of build, he's like with the one we just made, the honey lemon coal. She's like, okay,
so
with
excited.
with a splash of ginger. He's like, okay, so you want those flavors? Do we want real honey? Do we want honey malt? And so we used both. We used real honey and honey malt in it. Yeah, we used 10 pounds of honey malt, and then we used 10 pounds of real honey.
Wow.
Yeah, we put the real honey in after the boil, so like it's all in there, and then
I can't wait.
Yeah,
so
and then
excited.
real lemon peel and real ginger. So we grated lemons and actually no, we had the lemon peel already. It's dried lemon peel, and then we used grated real ginger. So yeah,
I'm so excited.
Fresh ingredients.
That's
So and they're all very subtle. Like it's not like overpowering.
It's not gonna be like a syrupy mess in your mouth. No,
it's good stuff.
Even the Aquarius y'all made with the s'mores flavor, which was one of my favorites of all time, was perfectly balanced with the flavor. Because I could drink plenty of those.
And they were big. They were like a 7.
Oh yeah, I felt great after the second one. Third one was even better.
Yeah, so that we actually used a flavoring. We used the amaretto s'mores flavoring.
Okay.
But it was this big tub of this like it looked good. Like it looked like a big tub of chocolate kind of.
Wow.
When you tasted it, oh no, it was gross.
Weird.
So gross.
Just so concentrated?
Yeah, because it was so concentrated. So yeah, it was gross, and we had to put that all in there. And
yeah, well, that's what I love though. Is the beers, I mean, the flavors just are never overpowering.
No.
And that is so much harder to drink than if they're like subtle and they're just like, okay, cool, I get the taste,
right?
I like it, and it's still beer.
Yes.
Yeah, I still get the nice beer flavor and everything like that, which is wonderful. Because I'm not going to throw out names, but there have been plenty of fruit beers that I've had where I'm like, can I finish this?
Yeah.
It's just so bad.
And we've been, so far, knock on wood, this will be our 5th new one, because we did Virgo twice. So this will be our 5th new one, and they've all done well. Like, we've done well with them. None of them have come out where we've had to dump them or been like, this isn't what we were hoping for.
Good point. I didn't even think about that.
So, knock on wood, because we've got 3 other new ones we're making this year.
Oh.
So Jem and I will make a comeback.
Okay.
But the other 3 are all new. So it'll be interesting to see, if we can. I really think the only one is the next one that's coming out that we're doing in May. Might be a little tricky. So we're doing some coffee kind of stuff with it. So
shit. Yeah, I remember you giving me a little sneak peek and heads up for that.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about it on the Women in Brewing podcast, because I do that too.
Yeah,
so
we haven't even talked about that yet.
Well, I know all these crazy things.
Well, that's a good segue.
There you go. Segue.
Women in Brewing segue.
That's right, but I need more beer.
I was about to say we should get one more beer. All right, we're gonna pause.
That's right.
Oh, hey, we're back.
Oh, yeah.
Women in
right.
Brewing.
Women in Brewing. So, yeah, we make beer. We have a podcast. We have a Ninkasi night. We do all sorts of things now with Women in Brewing.
No, well, this episode will actually come out Friday.
Okay. But we can still talk about it.
Yeah.
All these great things.
Yeah, so you do Ninkasi night once a month?
Once a month on Tuesdays.
Okay.
And that, it's usually the second Tuesday of the month.
Yeah, so far, yeah. Which has been a pretty good turnout.
Yeah, we have about 8 or 9 people, and we have about 5 or 6 people who come all the time, and then some other women who come depending on what we're doing. But it's again just to kind of educate women in a relaxed atmosphere about beer. Breweries are all over the place now. They're the thing. Who knows if they will be in 20 years, but for right now they are. So
some kind of alcohol.
Alcohol's a tradition. It's not going away.
Forever.
Yeah, it's not going away. And luckily we specialize in German beers, so we're not really going anywhere. We kind of got the niche market on that. Other breweries do German beers, but ours is all German. So, so just to kind of give women a, you go out with your boyfriend, you go out with your husband, you go out, even with just your friends, at least feeling a little more confident when you go into a place like, yeah, I do like that kind of beer. No, I don't like that kind of beer. So that's what Ninkasi Night's about. We, excuse me, is that burp there?
It's the beer.
Beer burp.
Yep.
But we, this week actually we're doing, this week is the brewing process. So kind of going through the equipment, like a tour of the brewery. Because, as a home brewer's wife, every brewery we've been to, we go on a tour. So
really, I didn't know that.
Oh my God, every brewery, which is great because, and it was funny. I said this on our podcast yesterday, but it's really sexy. The steel, the fermenters, when they're clean and when you see them like in the bright sunlight hitting, it's pretty sexy.
It's a good vibe. I totally get that. When I'm like looking for pictures, I'm like, I've taken this picture 1,000 times, but the way the light just shines
on it.
It's all sparkly. I get that. Oh yeah.
Pretty sexy. So, seeing different equipment and that kind of thing. Like if you've ever been to Sierra Nevada up in Asheville.
Oh my.
All copper.
God.
Holy moly. Talk about just, talk about sexy.
That's a panty dropper right there.
That's right. So letting women feel more comfortable about, when you're on the tour, knowing what things are and that kind of stuff and how the process is actually made. That's what we're focusing on this month. And then, but like in the past, we've done styles of beer. Like we did porters and stouts at Valentine's Day because they go good with chocolate. We just did, last month was all about Hellas's because Hellas's are easy drinking. So a lot of women will go towards a Hellas beer.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, like Joglin Board, our Joglin Board.
Amazing.
And it's fantastic. And it's, we kind of talked about how it's our gateway. But we do Ninkasi Night. And then we also have a podcast too, the Women in Brewing podcast. We're in our 2nd year. So we did it all last year, which was quite a new learning experience because, I'm like, I don't know what we're doing. And you go through things like we went through people that we had on it as far as who the regulars were and that kind of stuff. And again, finding that niche of who works well together. So, and now we've kind of made it that we do once a month, we focus on a local woman in the community and what she's doing to empower other women and, those kind of inspiring type stories. So, and it's really neat because a lot of them have stories that you wouldn't think, just backgrounds, childhood things that a lot of us have, but we're lucky they're vulnerable enough to share, which, that saying that, your story is somebody else's inspiration. So
100%, yeah.
So finding those women who, and all of them are business owners or, run a company of some sort. So again, highlighting women in business.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And a lot of them tend to work with us at the brewery. So it's really neat just to find all these different women in the community, which you know, I don't know. I feel like that's missing in Somerville, that we don't really highlight the women. I mean, and maybe we do, and I just don't know where, but
I don't either. So I think that's
so if I don't
great.
know where, then to me it's not loud enough. So.
Yeah. And you have like a great platform.
Yeah.
Because the podcast is, y'all pretty much started the whole Women in Brewing has never been touched before. I don't know almost of any other podcast that has just pure women focused kind of brewery thing. So it's really cool that you're kind of taking that idea and incorporating it with other people, especially in the area. Because why not start where you are?
Exactly. And there are a couple other ones, but what they do a lot of times is talk about different beers, so like different breweries or different, whereas ours is more focused on our experiences with actual brewing and you know, beer and what we're learning as we go, because a lot of us are like Carrie and Amanda who do it with me, so Birch and Carrie Lewis who do it with me, you know, this isn't their realm. Like Birch will tell you, you know, a year ago she didn't know anything about beer. And she's like, I can't work at your brewery, I don't even know if I like beer, you know, kind of thing. And now if you talk to her, she's got a much better understanding and a much better kind of background knowledge. So, and Carrie too, like Carrie now homebrews.
Wow.
Which her brother did, but now she does with her husband Sid, and you know, so just a good.
Oh my gosh, you get Carrie on, because I had Birch on.
Now you gotta have Carrie on.
It's gonna do the whole Women in Brewing team.
There you go, get the whole team out there. So we do that. I mean, and like we were talking about the honey lemon kolsch, and so this is the other goal when we originally set it up with when Ben and I kind of talked about it, and Brian's like, hey, I want the women to start bringing, you know, I want you. And so it all kind of came together. Our goal was, okay, so for each beer we make, we want to go ahead and give back to our community somehow.
I love it.
So this is the first one that we get to do that with. So I'm really super excited. We're working with Amanda Cunningham, who runs the Her Future Coalition. She's the CEO of that, and that deals with female sex trafficking out of India. So in these small villages where people don't know any better. So, and basically all the funds go to education and making lives better for them and how we can help them and that kind of stuff. So a bunch of the proceeds from Friday night when we release it. So are going to be...
For everyone listening and watching, that's tonight.
Come tonight, 5 o'clock, the honey lemon ginger kolsch. So we're really excited. So that's the other goal of Women in Brewing, is to give back.
That's
so
awesome.
As opposed to, you know, just making beer, it's, you know, beer with a message of how can we help make the world a better place.
That's something I've been picking up a lot from listening to Real as Fuck with Andy Frisella. He talks about it all the time. It's like, if you're not like giving more than like people are asking for, like, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah, it's like, that's gonna pay way more investment in your life than you can possibly imagine. And so I think about that a lot now, especially moving forward with like businesses where now I'm like, okay, so maybe I'm not making the most money out of this situation, but I'm helping them out, and that's better in my opinion for me, and it helps them out.
Exactly. And that's, you know, it's funny, yesterday on the Women in Brewing podcast, we had Stephanie, who brews with us and is around some, and she's been... Yeah,
I know Stephanie, right?
You know Stephanie.
Yeah, okay, wait a second.
You know Stephanie, running club.
Yeah.
And so she was talking about running club and about how at first she didn't, you know, she was a little worried about it, and, you know, was it really as laid back and everything? And then when she came and realized how laid back it was, and that inspired her to do. And I was like, oh, done for the day. And she started laughing at me. I said, if I help someone every day, then I'm done. Like, literally, as a human, your job is to help other people. At least that's what my, you know, as I've kind of now figured out that, you know, when you have a purpose and a passion, life just seems to click.
Oh yeah, it fits so much better.
You know, and the overthinking and the other stuff that you kind of stress about stops. And so I told her, I said, you know, that's always my goal is, you know, every day, did I help somebody? I don't even care what, you know, just because that's my purpose, you know. And for the longest time, that was hard for me to find. Why am I here? But I think it was hard because I never asked, because nobody really wants to. Think about it. You know, who really wants to ask, why am I here? What's my purpose? What am I doing here?
Nope.
You know, because again, like you said, it's deep, and it means you got to look, and you got to be like,
yeah, you got to ask all the uncomfortable questions.
And so, I really came to, again, oddly, in the last 2 years have been very powerful for me. I feel like I'm a really very different person than I've ever been. But it really was that my purpose in life is just to help and serve others.
That's awesome.
And that's it. It's that simple. It's not, I don't care how, I don't care what. It's, whether it's teaching, whether it's Women in Brewing and highlighting other people, it's not about me. It's about how can I help and serve others.
That's some sweet clarity right there.
So as long as I do that every day, check.
Man, if that's not one of the best, I usually like to ask my guests if they have one piece of advice or whatever. Right. That's fucking awesome.
But it is that digging that, you've got to be willing to dig and look at yourself. And I'm still digging and looking at myself. I still know. Right, 'cause
you never stop.
Right. And that's, somebody asked me about that. They're like, you never stop. And I'm like, right, because there's always more. I'm like, first off, and again, that's a thing about me. When you stop, that means there's nothing more. There's always more. There's always more. And I don't mean that in a negative, but there's always more. You can always get better. You can always, my poor 15-year-old has heard that since he was born. There's always somebody better. There's always more. There's always, but now he's 15 and you see it. And so he's not, when he doesn't make a team or he doesn't achieve the best, it's not oh my God, it's somebody else's fault. It's, I work harder. I gotta try harder. I gotta try something different. Or, you know what? Maybe this isn't just something I'm that passionate about. So I'm okay being second. I don't care.
Yep.
And so, that purpose, what is your goal in life?
Which obviously can change over time too. I was just thinking to myself, I wonder what Patrick would say to that. I'm like, fuck, if you asked me that question at 15, ironically, I would have said be an artist.
Right.
Weird.
Yeah. If you ask me those questions, like I said, the last 2.5 years have been powerful for me.
Yeah.
If you asked me that 3 years ago, I'm like, what? My purpose? I'm here. I teach. It wasn't.
Mine would have been to eat. I just want to be able to eat food every night.
Right. To be happy. I don't know, but, I think when people start digging, and it happens for everybody at a different time. I do believe it happens for every person. For some people, it happens a lot younger and they, get that clarity. For some people, it's just older. For some people, it takes something to happen.
Yep.
But I've had a lot happen in my life. So it was just me, I guess, at that point, just,
Yeah. No,
there was no big, moment of something happened. And I was like, oh my God, I got to figure it out. It was just, that's
it's almost
slow.
harder if there's not a big moment. I kind of had a big moment.
Oh, okay.
So it's easier for me to get my shit together because I was sitting at the bottom. Where we go?
Maybe I was. Maybe emotionally I was at the bottom and I just didn't know. And I was a mess. As much as I say Brian and I compliment each other, we've had issues. Obviously we've been together for 26 years.
Yeah.
We're human.
26, wow.
Yeah. So we've been married for 26 years. We've been together. I've been with him longer than I haven't been with him.
Wow.
When you think of the math. Yeah.
Wow.
He's been in my life longer than he hasn't been. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And just, you have stages where you're selfish and you're not doing the things I need you to do. Well, you're not doing what I need you to do. And so it may have been because we were at that kind of point too with each other, that frustration with each other of, things aren't just going the way we want them to and blah, 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 blah. And so.
Yeah. I love the digging deeper and asking yourself the question. So I feel like a lot of people don't. And
because it's scary.
Yeah. And they're like, what? Or I've met people that don't even think about it anymore. I'll ask them the question. I'm like, oh yeah, well, what, the best one I have, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I can't even answer that too well. I can, obviously, because I think about it, because I'm planning a business or whatever, but most people don't think about it.
Right.
And then you get them to answer the question, and you're like, oh, yeah, dude, are you really going to be happy doing this? And they're going to be like, oh, shit. And then you can kind of see it dawn on their face, oh, no. Oh, I just ruined their whole day. But at the same time, it's important to ask yourself these questions and inspect yourself.
Right. And it may have been now that I think about it, because I took a 8-day trip to Ireland without Brian, with just my sisters. So it may have been that was one of the, kind of having that time in a different country to see, and it to me, it was very, because we went through a lot of the countryside and things like that, and which, you and I were talking about before, I'm an introvert. I mean, people think I'm an extrovert because I know how to be an extrovert.
Faking it.
But like the countryside of Ireland was just gorgeous. And I, like you said, your 5-year plan, I was like, I could see Brian and I one day in that cottage in the middle of nowhere with a little brewery in the back, just, just
That's adorable.
living the life and being content. So, maybe it was those kind of things. I don't know.
I could easily see Brian doing that.
Oh, he'd be in heaven.
He used to be
We'd have
brewing
some
beer,
sheep.
still doing stocks and shit.
We'd have some sheep or something. I don't know.
Just like once a month, the town comes together and Brian teaches them things.
Exactly. So,
Oh my god, what a great ending though. That's excellent.
So that's we always joke. I'm like, because I sent him a picture of literally this cottage in the middle of nowhere, Ireland, as we're traveling, and I'm like, I found our retirement home. He's like, I'm game. How much is it?
Oh my god.
So there you go.
And right there where you can, well, Ireland and Scotland are close together, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a geography person. Hands down, everyone loves to be like, math, I'm terrible at math. And yeah, I think I'm pretty bad at math. But geography, I'm an idiot. I can't tell you the 50 states or even pick them. Like, I don't get it.
Do you know what's above South Carolina?
North Carolina.
Okay, good. Because I have students who don't.
Go ahead. What's above North Carolina? I don't know.
Virginia.
I was going to say for Virginia, but the other idea was Rhode Island.
Which is way. You got to go through Maryland.
Okay, see, I thought Maine's at the top, though.
Maine's at the very top.
Okay,
Yep.
fuck, I got that
Rhode
right.
Island's actually to the side of Did Birch not give you a New England bougie description?
She talked about it a little bit, but I
Okay.
don't think we went into it.
She probably talked more about the Cape.
Or just ripping the picnic table apart.
Oh, yeah.
She said the Cape.
The Cape Cod.
Oh, that's right, because we talked about chips.
The Cape.
And there was like a camp or something that
Yes,
she did.
she
Yeah,
worked
yeah,
at
yeah.
camp. The Cape.
I remember that. Hold on,
See?
how are we doing? Yeah, we're getting pretty close.
Okay. To almost time up. Uh-oh.
Yeah, actually,
You're almost full.
You've already gone over most people.
Sorry.
Oh no, that's fine. It was a good conversation.
There you go. See?
Yeah, if it's dead
Good stuff.
conversation, I end it early.
Okay, you're like, we're done.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh god, we're approaching 35 minutes. Let me try for like one last Hail
Holy
Mary.
crap.
Yeah, that's only happened like twice. So most of the time, I do pretty good at picking people who can hold
talk.
a good conversation. I ain't into small talk.
That's why I can't do the small talk. Look, what's your
God.
purpose? Why
Yeah.
are you here? What's going on?
Awful.
So there you go. Yeah. You don't have a purpose. You don't have a bigger thing.
Yeah. So I would like to wrap up with books.
Ooh, I love books.
And I know you do.
I love
which is
books.
Why?
We didn't even talk about teaching. We could have a whole nother. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Yeah, we'll get back to teaching. That's fine.
Teaching boring.
I like what we talked about so
I know.
far.
I'm
Yeah.
just teasing. Books.
Yeah,
man.
so I'm going through, and I think I mentioned this a few times, Ben giving me a bunch of books, and I think you're part of it. You give a bunch of books, you read a bunch of books. And so I am still in the middle of Parasitic Mind.
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm almost done that one too.
Okay, so you're
So
still
we can have a
reading
book.
that.
We can have a book club. Me, you, and Birch.
I'm surprised we don't have an Oak Road book club.
Birch is getting ready to read Extreme Ownership.
Yeah, I still haven't finished that one yet.
So good.
Because that one, I want to pick up and I want to read it, and then I need to set it down and I need to sit here and stare at myself
Oh yeah, and go. What am I doing wrong?
and just think about it, right?
Yeah. Good old
Whereas,
Jocko.
what was the other one I just finished? The one that made me mad.
The
Coddling of the American Mind.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I kind of like ate through that pretty easily.
That was a good one.
Yeah. I don't know if this is cheating to you or not. I love reading with my hands.
Yeah.
But I
me
don't
too.
have a lot of time for it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I listen more than anything.
Yes. No. Ben gets mad if I say that's cheating.
Really?
He goes, yes. So he's like, you're insulting people. I'm like, I love books,
Mm-hmm.
like holding books. In our house, there are books everywhere.
Yeah, I
My
obviously get that.
nightstand has about 20 different books. Not that I'm reading all 20 of them. I've either finished them or just haven't put them away.
Just
and,
your babies?
yeah.
Just
they're
there?
They're just there.
I get it.
Just depends, And if it's a good book, I'll reread it. Mm-hmm. So, like there's some people who are readers who are like, no, I don't reread. I'm like, I reread good books.
yeah.
Just because you find other stuff.
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
You can always dig deeper. So
100%. That I am one of my favorite all times is obviously Harry Potter.
Yes.
And I say obviously because if you know me at all, then you know I love Harry
Potter's
Potter.
Great. Yeah, great books.
And still, I will listen to the books and pick up shit that I forgot or didn't even notice or pay attention.
Wait, what? Yeah.
Or it'll hold like a new weight or whatever when you're reading it. And it's like a twist. And like, man, if you really think about the importance of this, and I love it because I feel like it also teaches you to perceive situations a little differently.
Oh yeah, perception. That's a huge thing. Like so I've always loved books since I was a kid, just because they're a good way to escape. But perception is such a big thing too, that your perception is literally unique because it's yours. Nobody else has it because nobody else has your background. Nobody else has anything. So again, that your perception is so different than mine just because of what you bring to the table. And I think that's something humanity is so missing. You know, that people forget that there are literally no two people on the planet of 7 billion people that have the same perception of anything.
That's such a good point.
So be open-minded and know that, you know, but you were asking me about books. Sorry.
No, that's
good.
That's
philosophy.
Well, part of book reading, I think, it delves into that.
It does.
And the books I brought up anyway are pretty much psychology based anyway.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Which cracks me up because I did not do well in college with psychology.
It's like,
But I was the guy who slept, so it doesn't matter.
There you go.
That's the dumb shit that I wish I didn't do as a kid, but that's what they tell you growing up, and you still do it.
And psych fascinates me because as a teacher, that's all it is psychology. How do you get a kid to see what it is that they have inside of them?
It's creative thinking.
It's just
you have to think so much out of the box and stuff.
Each kid is different. So how do you get them to see? And every kid, I mean, I've taught for 22 years. Every kid has something to give and something to bring. And so getting them to see that, and it's for some of them it's so easy because they've grown up in families that's been nurtured, and for some of them it's been and it's just so heartbreaking to try and get them to see you're only 12. There's a lot in there still. So but I like a lot of psych books. I like a lot of books are amazing to me because again, escape and different perspectives and all of those things. So right now I have and you'd like these, Daniel Pink has 3, and the one I'm actually rereading because I read it before. It's called Drive, and it's all about motivation, and it's all about that, dangling the carrot stick doesn't work. And in education there was a whole big movement about like rewarding good behavior and that kind of stuff. It doesn't work. The kids who don't behave know what you're doing. They're not stupid. They're like, whatever, I don't want your fake money. I don't want your fake crap. Like, and so getting into, again, what is it that motivates that? What's the passion for that child? What's their why? And so helping, obviously at 12, nobody knows.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. So, but that's a good book too. Have you read that one by Simon Sinek, Your Why?
No, but I would have to read that.
I have both of them. So, and then Daniel Pink has a couple other ones too.
Daniel Pink.
Yeah, he's
what
good.
Was it? Simon what?
Sinek. Yeah. And both of them he's all about your why, your purpose. And if you know what that is, then everything else will kind of fall into place.
Definitely
just naturally.
Does. Because then you kind of like, you're making every step that you kind of make is going to have that in the back of your head. And you're like, well, why am I doing that? I need to do this.
Right.
So I'm doing that. That's another thing that Andy Frisella talked about too. It's like you need to switch your mindset away from like you're sacrificing things and you're making investments.
Right.
And I think book reading is definitely
an investment.
And I was just bitching about not having time to read with my hand, but
always
answered it for myself. It's an investment, not a sacrifice, Caleb.
Yep. And I'm one of those, like, people always laugh at me because, and Ben is like, how the hell do you do that? I always have 3 to 4 different books going. So right now on my nightstand, I've got like a psych book. I'm reading the Daniel Pink Drive book. I've got fiction, just, escape if I'm not in the mood.
Oh yeah, that's where I live.
Always got to have one of those. I always have a book based on like education, and then a beer book is the new. That's where 4 comes from. It used to be 3, but now I have a beer book too. So it just depends on what I'm in the mood, because I always read right before bed. Because again, I'm a very routine oriented person.
Very nice.
Talk about that.
We haven't.
4 in the morning, 10 o'clock at night. That's my day. 4 to 10 every day.
Lord.
Yeah. Clockwork.
My clockwork is usually just falling asleep by midnight.
Oh, hell no. But I'm up at 4, so I can't.
I am not up at 4. So, yeah.
Up at 4, out the door by 4:30.
I was definitely an early to bed, early to rise kind of person when I started being serious about the business.
Right.
And the only difference is now that I'm not single.
Yeah.
Staying in bed a little bit longer.
Those girls tend to get in the way. No, I'm
They
just
end
kidding.
up too, yeah. But I think it's okay.
It is.
Because I push myself pretty hard, so
Well,
I think
yeah.
I'm fine.
I mean, and mine is I'm up at 4 and I get my workout and everything in, so I have family time later.
See, I love that. That's excellent.
Yeah.
I'm getting really close to that. I'm getting really fucking close to having to hit the gym before everyone else goes. I'm like,
Right.
fuck, I'm going to have to go to the gym at 5. I got to be one of those people now because you lose so much time in the day.
Yeah.
I added it up, and I think going to the gym cuts out almost 3 hours of my day. I'm like, holy shit, that's a lot of work.
It does. And when I think about it, like 4 in the morning, so I do 4 to 6 is my workout. I'm in the shower by 6. And I am very structured about my time. But like guys like Andy Frisella and them, they tell you, like you have your schedule, you stick to it. That's what it's for. But Brian and Patrick are not. So I'm not missing time with them. I'm not,
it.
you know what I'm saying? Like it's literally my time. So I can think and do all those things, but I don't feel like I'm sacrificing anything because it's my time.
What time does Brian wake up?
Brian is usually up by 5:30 because I take that back. So at 5:30 to 6, I'm usually finishing and he's starting, and that's also our time. Like we'll sit and have coffee and talk and because we made that a habit too. We're like, we don't always make sure that there's 20 minutes for us to shoot the shit and talk. So.
Just for a second, I thought you were about to tell me that Brian would sleep in, and then everything in my brain was like, no, that man's gonna wake up before the sun does.
He's out of bed by 5:30, dressed and ready to go. His alarm goes off. He's got a Jocko alarm. Holy shit.
Oh my god, he listens to Jocko every morning though, doesn't he?
Yeah. We both do.
Yeah.
So, and those are other books that are great too.
They really are so good.
Yeah. So we do that, and I mean, and that's the other thing. We're both on the same wavelength as far as. And I mean, this is totally, I know you said we were done, but when people think of couples, and you're like, oh my God, 26 years, but we both grow together. A lot of times when couples it's because they don't grow together.
They separated.
And like he was funny because when I started running and losing weight, he was like, holy shit, I can't be a fat fuck while my wife is this skinny. Like she's going to leave my ass. And so, it was, and I'm like, what? I'm like, that wasn't even a thought in my mind. Like it wasn't even what I was doing it for. But he then, started working out and so we've always kind of grown together.
That is
which is
fucking awesome relationship advice, really.
If
I mean,
you
a lot of people need to know that.
Right. If you see your partner changing and growing, you need to ask yourself, well, what is it doing? Is it a way I want to grow? Because sometimes your partner is changing and you're like, oh, hells no.
Yeah.
That's not the way we want to go. And unfortunately, you just have to go. And I've seen friends do that. They have to split up and I get it. But we have always been on the same kind of path, which works out for us.
Yeah, that's good though. The growing together is very important.
Yeah, and I want to say it's lucky, but it's not. We have to work at it. I mean, we have to say, what are you interested in? What are you interested in? That kind of thing.
Absolutely.
So
that's another thing. We're just learning more about yourself and asking the deep questions.
Yeah.
All right then.
So, all right.
I will. Well, hold on. One more last thing.
Oh Lord Jesus.
Because you said so many good, inspirational, like life motivating kind of things.
Look, I did my job for the day.
I know you did, but now you have to do a hard part.
Okay.
Pick one.
Pick one what?
Pick one to end with.
One what?
Well, okay. So suppose people are listening to this podcast and the finisher. Pick like the finishing advice kind of thing, like, or something to think about, or like what you would tell someone to walk away to chew on this thought. So
think about your why. Why are you here? Not, you're not the what's my career, but what's your why? Why are you here? What is your purpose in life? Because when you figure that out, it's just amazing. And a lot of times it's not as big as you think it is. And it's 99.999. It's not materialistic. It's deeper than that. Think about why you're here. And no, not everybody's here to serve. Like I said, mine is I realize I'm here to serve others. And that's my bigger goal in life. That's not everybody's why. And some people's why is a little more specific and that kind of thing. But when you figure that out, it really is just a, you know, and I wish somebody had talked to me about that 10, 15 years ago. And maybe they did. And I just wasn't ready for it. You know, you're ready for it when you're ready for it.
Yeah.
But when you figure that out, you know, why do you teach? Why are you doing what you do? Because if you don't have a why, stop doing it.
Ooh.
Stop doing it.
I like that.
You know, like if you don't, like I guarantee you know why you like to paint. Art. You have a why.
100%.
If not, just stop doing it. Why waste your time? There's so much more to life. Mm-hmm. So figure that out. Why are you doing this? What is it that you want to share with the world? Because you only get one shot.
I know, right?
And you know, and it's funny because people always go, oh, you're so morbid. And Patrick will be like, why do you say that? Tomorrow could be it.
Oh, yeah.
So are you okay with that?
Yeah, you're just sacrificing yourself for no reason?
Right. Are you okay with that? Because if not, ask yourself, what is your why? So that's my profound
love it.
advice, I guess.
Fantastic. I love it too because you also ended with a question almost. You didn't give advice. You're like, it's more like, all right, think about this. It's like, I don't know. That's good. I love it because now everyone's like, well, what is my why? You're like, oh shit, they're just driving home, just like, oh god.
And don't think that this is something that I've come up with. This is out there. I have not. This is not I'm not.
Oh, yeah.
So, but yeah, when you figure that out, life just, seriously, I mean, you're like, because everything's geared towards that.
Yep. It makes everything so much easier. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It all falls into place.
Yeah.
So that's the saying. Once you figure out your why, the how, all comes right into place.
And what a great place to end. Thank you.
There you go. You got it.
It's been a great episode. Fun.
Thank you.
I'm glad you had a good time.
I did.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for listening.
Thanks.
You can find Erin at Women In Brewing. Mm-hmm. You want to do any other personal ones? Or just
we can do it at Women In Brewing. You can find me at Oak Road. You can find me. I do have my own, Erin Cox. If you want to follow me, I don't really do anything that exciting.
Just
but
Oak Road Runners.
Oak Road Runners. And, don't come see me at school.
Nope. But definitely come to the brewery tonight.
Yes, come to the brewery tonight for the big release and that kind of stuff. But yeah, definitely come.
Yeah.
See us. Say
Excellent.
hi.
All right, bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Because you suck, Jimmy.